Caroline.
And I'm signing out. It's Phil here. And I said to Caroline, I better put the microphone on. I said, I haven't even signed in yet. I was too busy. I'm here.
I just can't get the staff. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and I'm going to go straight to the top and see who are the first 3 in tonight. And it's always a relief. I keep an eye out for the first person to come in, because I don't know if you can remember
no,
the
early
days, and I was thinking, oh no, I put the video out and it's not going out public, or something would be wrong. So it's always such a relief when somebody comes in. So the first one to come in and the person to relieve my fears today was Ed Creative. So thank you, Ed, for being so prompt. Followed closely by Lexi B, Lexi's Larks and Crafts, and in third place is Bonnie Tyler Fan 34. Congratulations, you three. First time of the evening for somebody to be on a podium. And thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to have a good night. We've got a few things planned and lots of chat. And feel free to chat away in the chat. If it's your first time here, give me a row of smiley faces so we notice you, because sometimes such a lot of chat is going on. You can get a little bit over. I won't see you because I just glance down occasionally. So if you give me a nice row of smiley faces, I've now got an echo.
I shut you up, dear.
Thank you. Then I can keep an eye on people and see who's new in. Right. I've done first in. Phil is still signing in. So what are we going to do while Phil is signing in?
I'm in.
So much for Phil taking the next section. Well, I know there's been a lot going on over on the Facebook page, and I see Lexi's got her car, very nice car too, at last. It's been a while, and we've had some wonderful pictures of places people have been, and we've even had today a festive dragon from Ed.
And that's not the only dragon.
Ooh.
Yes, as well as Ed's festive dragon in July, Christmas dragon, we've also had 2 dragons from up north.
Up north?
Lexi.
Oh, I saw those, yes.
Yes, castle dragons.
They look really good.
Because I've replied to that, Lexi, and I've sent you a picture of a dragon we came across while shopping.
Yes.
Yes, we were just, that's the thing down here, you go up Merthyr and you don't know what you're going to find.
No, they're everywhere.
Yeah, dragon in the shop. Yeah, but yeah, there's lots of activity. Thank you, everyone. We now have 60 members in the Facebook group, which is brilliant. And it's lovely to see the community growing, seeing people chatting with one another and
just
about all sorts.
We've got 2 comments that you can't hear us. Oh, that's not good. Could you let us know if you can hear us? Because we've had 2 people say they can't hear us.
I know we can, because I
yes,
had to turn my sound off.
Us. So if you can't hear us, then it must be your end. So refresh.
Hang on. Let me just check.
Yep, we're fine this end, so if you just refresh your page, it should work, in theory.
Yeah, hopefully everything sounds fine.
Lots of people can hear us.
I just realised we must have sound going through the airwaves, because I got in trouble for leaving my sound on and creating an echo.
This is true.
And it's more than an echo, it runs about 12 seconds behind, so it's a most annoying.
Oh, Rachel said I can hear you all the way in Michigan. Oh, there we go, we're fine then.
There we are then.
All right, Phyllis said we hear you, but not your usual sound.
Oh.
Another one with problems.
Oh.
Do I sound more husky and sexy, or do I sound more wobbly? What's the difference in the sound?
Perhaps it's our age, perhaps we're getting old.
That's it, could be. The sound coming from your computer, not the mic. Now that shouldn't be happening. Let me have a look. Mic auxiliary. Let's have a look. Yep, let's. I tell you what, you chat to people and I'll see if I can fix this.
Right, this could be a long chat, folks. Caroline's going to fix this. Mind you, tech support Tim just came through the door upstairs, so we'll be all right if we need backup. Yeah, as Caroline was saying, the photos have been great. And it's lovely because it really is starting to grow as a community, as people, and as I said at the beginning, it's not limited to what we talk about. We've asked for people not to use it to plug channels and things, because we don't want it to be about that. We just want it to be a place for people to share ideas and share their experiences. And Nigel has certainly done that this week, because Nigel's taken a trip to the Cotswolds and put up a picture of a beautiful thatched cottage that they're staying at. And how's it going, dear?
Right now,
is the voice improved?
In theory, I think I fixed it.
Oh.
Which would be a miracle if I have.
No, Rachel, I don't think I should sing as a sound test.
There we go. Everybody, you've got us.
There we go. That's better.
There we go. What happened for some reason? I don't know why it keeps doing this. For some reason, it had changed your settings again, and this time it was using my computer to record the sound instead of my fancy dancy microphone.
Yeah, which people
the one on and the one
did
off.
notice. But as well as the cottage, there were also gorgeous pictures from the Cotswolds from, I think it was St. Peter's. It was definitely a church. I think it was called St. Peter's that Nigel shared with us on their travels. And there was talk of a tour of a brewery.
Oh.
Which was backed up by a picture of 2 half-drunk glasses of beer.
So half-drunk people.
No, they were totally drunk. Half-drunk glasses of beer. So it's brilliant, and may refer to some more of that. But as I say, everything there from Ed's creations to Rachel's beautiful shelves with the alpine pots on, to flower arrangements, to Dexy getting a new car, as Caroline said, to dragons and all sorts. And that's what we love, the variety. It's a real good mix. So thank you everyone for your contributions there. And if you know of anyone else within our wider family who would like to be part of it, then let them know the group is there, because all they have to do is apply, we let them in, and then as long as everyone behaves, they can stay.
Right, Ed was saying sounds loud but very slightly high-pitched hum. And that's coming from my computer. My computer it's not very well, and it keeps on putting the fan on and making strange noises, and my computer's here and the microphone is there. So there's not a lot. I can move the microphone closer to us, but then you'll hear every sort of scratch and sniff.
Well, don't sniff, don't scratch.
No sniffing, no scratching. No. I'll turn it down a little bit because we're deaf and you.
On your best behaviour. That's what
there we go.
That's what you've got to do. So, short video this week. Compared to most, it was shorter, in case anyone had noticed. But that was purely because it was done and it was a wrap. That was, to drag it out. We wanted to make it. We wanted to keep it moving. We wanted to make it interesting, and it's a small town, but well worth the visit, wasn't it? Was well worth the visit.
I've got something I'm trying to look at on here, so it's no good talking to me.
I won't talk to her. Right, Caroline's having a show over there.
If I can interrupt. Okay,
on,
Phyllis has just pointed out I missed Paul Gratford has given us a row of pink hands waving. Hello, Paul, if it's your first time in, welcome, and just join in the chat. You'll be more than welcome. Everybody's really chatty. And it's always lovely to have somebody else joining in the chat as well. Get another point of view about everything. Right, let's have a look.
Excellent.
I think that's all right. There we go. Do you want to start with a question? Because I'm getting a bit distracted. I've missed so much chat now.
Well,
so
yes,
let's have
we can do a question. Of course we can. Hello, Dorothy. Lovely to see you too. I see Dorothy just said hello as we went to the question logo. And although I think it may be Paul's first time here, but I'm sure I've answered comments to Paul on our videos. I think he's been watching our videos and making lots of comments. So it's lovely to see you on the live tonight.
Yes, and of course, good to know that you're feeling better, Lexi's mum, Elaine.
Yes.
Lovely news.
Excellent. Of course, we've got our questions. And our questions are always sometimes clearly related and sometimes sort of related.
Tentatively linked.
But
sometimes not linked at all.
I can usually justify the question by the video this week.
Yes.
But sometimes there is a stretch. But this one is absolutely upfront because this is a question about Clark's shoes. Because you can't go to street and not notice that it's got something to do with Clark's shoes. The name is stamped pretty big on the place. Caroline showed you that shot of the building, and behind you could see a clock on the tower, and then from inside the shopping village you could see the chimney stack. That really doesn't do justice to how big the plant is there. But to get a shot of the whole plant was difficult because of the security gates and everything that
it looked really ugly. So.
It did. It was obviously they have to have security, but gorgeous place built at the centre of the town, Massive production there for many, many years. But of course, the production is now elsewhere, but the company is doing jolly well. And this question is related to how jolly well are they doing?
Ooh, let's find out how jolly well they're doing.
Because according to the Clark's website, approximately how many pairs of shoes do they produce each year? Do you think it is A, 10 million pairs of shoes, or B, 20 million pairs of shoes? Don't forget, don't answer until you see go on your screen of Caroline, just in case there's new people in.
You hear me or you see it come up.
And finally, could it be C, 40 million?
Go.
So A is 10 million, B is 20 million, C is 40 million. How many pairs of shoes are Clark's producing per year, roughly, at the moment, according to their website? So obviously, I can't argue with that, because I tell you what, you read stuff on the internet. When I was doing research for Going, and then research for this show tonight to do the questions, there was an article from 2022 in answer to the question, where do Clark's produce their shoes? They said, Clark's still produce their shoes at the centre of the town of Street. And they'd left donkey's years before
Donkey's years?
Donkey's years before
Donkeys.
that. They finally moved the last production out of Britain in 2006. I think they left Street in the 1990s.
Well, Darth Yard is the 4th largest shoe company in the world.
Correct. You may have heard that on our show. Because I did mention that.
Clark's Magic Key shoes. No, I don't remember those.
I do remember.
Because they would have been for our children, I suppose. So
I remember in our day, Clark's trackers, and on the soles they had the shapes of animal paw prints for the grips, and they inside the shoe they had a compass.
Oh, very useful. As long as it was okay to take your shoes off.
Well, I worked
you get very muddy socks
I took
if you're
my
in the
shoe
jungle.
off, and I worked out which way was north, and I was going to walk to the North Pole. But by the time I got to the end of the street, I was getting a bit scared, so I come home. I tell you.
He was 42 at the time.
I tell you, I have been asked for information for an article.
Ooh, well, I'm in the presence of somebody who is
I have been
autograph
asked
worthy.
for my memories of an event in Wales some 50 odd years ago. That was when they filmed Doctor Who year. Someone's writing an article for Doctor Who magazine about the visit of Doctor Who to South Wales for the filming at a local colliery. And of course, I had mentioned on occasions that I was there. And Andrew Dexter, who's sometimes in the chat here with us, he mentioned to this person that I was there, and I got a message, so I got to send him my memories.
Oh, your memoirs.
My memoirs of my time with John Pertwee up in Derry.
Me and John Pertwee, best buddies.
Yeah, me and John Pertwee.
It's got to be truthful,
the exclusive. My buddy John. All right then, folks.
While we're getting the answers together,
Right.
so we've got a few comments on Clark shoes. Jane W loves them and has a few pairs. Lisa's husband has 2 pairs and loves them. Beata said my children's first shoes were from Clark's. And let's have a look if anybody else has given any comments. The Magic Key ones. Does anybody remember the Magic Key ones? Act your shoe size, not your age. Yeah, it all depends which way around it works best for you sometimes, isn't it? They used to have a little key in the sole. The advert was a girl walking through a magical secret garden. You know, I can't remember that. For we went for a couple of years. We didn't have a TV, so maybe we missed it then, because I would imagine my children would have been sort of your age at the most. You're a baby compared to us. So, I don't remember those, but I do remember they had Clark's hardware, because one of our children was so hard on their feet, their shoes. If I bought them from anywhere else, 6 weeks, they'd have holes in the bottom. So they had a special brand called Clark's Hardware, and they were virtually bomb-proof and would last him about 3 months, and then they had holes in the bottom. Don't know what he used to do.
Yep, definitely hardware in on the shoes with one of our kids. Okay then, I can tell you that out of the first 12 answers, 4 of them were right. So we're running on about 30% right, and we're getting a fairly even split, but the more popular answer in the first 12 was A, and that was incorrect. Because the correct answer was 40 million pairs of shoes a year.
I guess 20. I thought, no, it's not going to be 40. It's one of Phil's questions again. He wasn't.
So while Lexi got it wrong, she was right in her comment, many shoes.
Yes.
That is many shoes.
That covers it.
So we've got to go down to the fourth answer to get the first correct one.
The fourth.
So on the gold podium, he's back on top form tonight, Mike Sage.
Well done, Mike.
Well done. And on silver, it's Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
And then we have Carlin Scott.
Well done, Carlin.
And due to the fact there are 4 correct answers in the first 12, and the fourth one came immediately after Carlin, so that's just the flick of a switch, I'm going to give a special mention
a silver gilt
to Catherine Williams.
Well done, Catherine.
So there we go. Our podium places go to Mike, Rachel, Carlin, and a special mention for Catherine. Yeah, 40 million pairs
That's a lot
of shoes.
of shoes. That's actually 80 million shoes.
Sad thing is that an awful lot of production... See, a lot of people say, well, it's not right, they move production out. But I think it reached a point where Clark's felt that if they were going to stay in that position of a mass producer of shoes, they had to get out. Because the production costs were too high, the export costs were too difficult. But it's not all shoe companies that are doing that, because we were watching something the other day, weren't we, about Trickers?
Yes. No.
Something like that. There's a company...
Crockett and something, or something and Crockett.
There's a company up in Northumberland, and or Northampton area.
Somebody may know the name of this company.
They've been there since the early 1800s, and they're still there. And they are doing well. But the secret of their success is quality, yes, but being able to ask a price for that quality.
They're very expensive, but very
their
nice.
shoes are worn by those who are discerning and
loaded.
those who can afford it, which means you may have a farmer from Yorkshire wearing their shoes, a pop star wearing their shoes, a footballer wearing their shoes, and I know for a fact the Royals wear their shoes because they've got a royal warrant. So it's either go high end, because then you can pay the wages and everything else because you make it such a profit margin on each pair. Or if you want to mass produce, it got very difficult. So it's good that Clark's are still successful, and it is good that they've used so much of the land to build what I have to say, I'll repeat it again, in my estimation, and I know I haven't been to them all, it's the most beautiful shopping village that I have visited. I was really impressed. And I was further impressed when Fee in the Shed, I believe it was, posted a picture saying they always do lovely displays at street. And this time it was a red telephone box, which are quite synonymous with the UK. They used to be on every street corner. But it was done with an overwhelming abundance of flowers, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that looked gorgeous. So obviously they work hard at making it a pleasant place to be. Even somewhere where Manky and I could have a little lie down and relax and enjoy the deck chair under the tree.
Now that picture is over on the Let's Go with the Johnsons Facebook group. So if you're not in there and you want to join, let us know, and let somebody in the chat know, and they'll send you an invite, and we can put you in there, and you can see all the photographs and put your own in of anything. We're pretty open-minded as long as it's within reason.
Yeah.
Family friendly. Put it in. We're interested in where you've been on holidays, what your garden looks like, what you cooked today, what you made. Anything like that.
It's just trying to create that sort of place to chat. Really, it's an extension of the chat. The reason we do the live show is to bring you all together so you can chat in real time. That's why we do a premiere. We started doing premieres because we used to just put our videos out there. We started premieres because it gave the community an opportunity to come together, and in real time, like for Linda, it's in the morning. Often in the comments, it's a cold morning here, and we're sat here, and of course the sun is setting, and it's getting ready for bedtime over here. So we're all in real time here, but the Facebook group means that you can share something at your leisure, and someone somewhere in the world is going to pick it up and reply. So there we go.
And speaking of Linda's, Linda Hardy has sent us a row of palm trees and said, Daytona Beach, glad to be here. It's lovely to have you here, but I wish we were there. Daytona Beach, oh, it sounds so wonderful. And Phyllis said, I've lost Phyllis' comment. Just a second, Phyllis. Buster Brown shoes were popular shoes for kids in America in the 50s. Now, we've got Joe Brown clothing, but I don't think we've got a Buster Brown here. It sounds fun, doesn't it? Children's shoes with Buster Brown. Right there.
When Linda's referred to Doc's, is that Doc Martens?
Doc Martens, yeah.
They're still produced in the UK, I think. I think they're still produced in the UK. Again, they're able to put. They've always been a premium product, haven't they? Because you can get other products that produce airwear soles, but at one time when we were young, Doc Martens were the only ones, weren't they? And they were very fashionable in the 70s.
Yes. And they came back in the 90s, was it?
Yeah, because
ladies were wearing them with long, and also ladies were wearing long flowery, midi length long flowery dresses and Doc Marten boots.
And that's when Doc Marten started putting daisy prints on them, and now they do children's.
Oh, they got some really lovely ones.
Such a range on the name. But back in our day, I think they did do them in black, but everyone had them in oxblood. They were a reddy brown colour, and the polish was called oxblood polish, and they were a mark of the time. After we went from high heels, because I had a pair of high heels.
Platforms. High heels is the wrong sort of...
They were that big.
Yes, I'm sure you look wonderful.
Yeah, the heels on my shoes were that big, and the soles were that big.
My sister had those.
Yeah, that's right.
Boys, girls, they were all wearing these platforms.
Well, I was the same
like
age.
Walking on stilts, yeah.
Because I'm a lot older than Caroline, and the same age as her big sister was. So, we were at the same generation. It was the same music scene and everything.
I just missed that. Basically, rollers were in. Things that
Slade.
I just came in after. Yeah, I missed Slade, really.
Yeah.
I missed the heyday of Slade.
Mind you, everyone knows Slade because they put out a Christmas song. And they have said since that was their pension, because it is so popular.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. Crockett and Jones, that's the one. Yep, you're right. Thanks for letting us know. And Ed said, Phil, you're tall enough without heels. I agree.
And
I feel like a midget.
I was a lot thinner then as well, so I was a long streak of nothing. I looked like a beanpole.
Yes, Phil was 9 stone and very tall. So,
yeah.
all our children have turned out bigger than me as well. I'm the real midget of the family. I'm only little.
How about our youngest? Are they bigger than you?
Yep, they're bigger than me. I'm about 5'7". I'm 5'1"3/4". And that 3/4 of an inch is very important. It means I'm almost 5'2".
Yeah. Ed remembers going to the cobblers for new soles for the shoes.
Our cobblers has just shut down. The last cobblers, when we got Timpson's, which is a massive conglomerate thing, that's very expensive. Yeah, they're around the area and they're in
Yes,
but the last of the ones that I know of, anyway, of this sort of sole trader cobblers has just closed down in our town. Oh, soul trader. Oh, I'm so humorous.
Heel and soul trader.
And I find it... Modern shoes now, they wear out so quickly, and I like to wear my shoes to death. I'm not one of these people who wears them and all they're out of fashion. If I got them, I'm going to wear them till they fall off my feet. But I do often have the heels replaced because they go so quickly. Sometimes 6 weeks when we do a lot of walking, and the heels have worn away. So
what we found with the local cobbler as well is he would take on jobs. He'd have a go.
Yes. If the bottom had fallen off your shoe, he'd try his best.
I've taken shoes in there for people, and he's actually replaced the sole on Doc Martens and things like this, which I don't know if everyone would take that on. And he would build shoes up, wouldn't he? He'd make a whole new sole for something, because it was his skill set then. He had trained for years to be a cobbler, and he'd been doing it for 4 decades. But of course, there's no one to pass it on to, so they're closing down. Mind you, I don't know how healthy it was in there, because the smell on that glue when I was in there, he was always smiling.
Happy,
he was always smiling.
Oh, Ed said my mother was short too. Oh, I think we'll say all the best people are, okay?
No, you don't, Rachel. You do not need to see photos of Phil in his high heels. I've got a photo of me from that time, but you can't see the high heels, because although today we've all got cameras and we can just pop them out, take a photo. Back in the day, getting photos developed was a very expensive process. And the only photos I have of me in my teenage years, as far as I remember, are 2 headshots, and they were from one of them photo booths.
On the collar length, whoa.
And the hair.
Yeah, and the hair, yes.
I have to dig them out for next week.
A long bob.
I will try and dig out an album with pictures of Caroline and myself in those days before we met. I'm pretty sure we got a couple.
Yes.
I have to have a look. I know
they're all in the brown album.
They are.
Yes.
It's definitely the brown
album. See if I can find our album. There's some really funny ones.
Yeah, and perhaps we can scan them in and we can put them up for people to see then.
Yeah.
Right, so maybe we'll do that next week. If I can find the album, we'll do pictures of me in my teens when I used to go shopping. I used to take my grandmother, who was blind at the time. I say that because she had cataracts, but today they take your cataracts off and you're still driving. When my grandmother had hers done 40 odd years ago, you had to virtually go blind before they could actually take them off.
And even she had thick pebble glasses,
she did.
So she couldn't see.
She had to use a white stick. So I used to take her shopping to Newport to buy new hats and things after her appointment at the hospital, and she always used to buy us dinner in the British Home Stores cafe, and she would put the money in the machine for me to have my photos took. So that's why I've got photos.
No.
Some have survived. Some have survived.
Bonnie Tyler fan said, "You're taller than me, Caroline." Oh, right. So, but you're in amongst the short people who was very, very tasteful short people, okay? We're going to have a short people club just to make me feel better. Right, where have we gone? I've just lost. I was going to read a comment. I've lost. Right, Paul Gatwood said, "I'm currently in the process of planning to move to Swansea, South Wales, because I've sadly lost all my family and friends and now I'm alone. If you come down to Wales, then there's a good chance you're going to find a lovely community in Swansea, because there are such a lot of friendly people. It's the same everywhere, you get good and bad, but the Welsh do tend to be very chatty and friendly. So
and quite a number of people have retired to the coast, so they go down the Mumbles and that way. And I did look up, because you've mentioned I thought it was Paul I'd been speaking to, and Paul mentioned this and said where he was looking to stay, and it was a very nice place. It was like a place down there in a house, a big house,
right,
and number of residents there,
which
was very nice. But it is a lovely part of the world. One of our family lived down that way, didn't they, down towards Swansea?
It's lovely. You catch a bus to the seaside, wonderful.
Yeah, and the town and the seaside are all so close.
It's a lovely town, good charity shops.
Yeah, and they finished the roadworks. Now that may sound like a strange thing to say.
Oh, they went over years, decades, I reckon.
For over a decade, I'm sure it was. If you went to Swansea, they had dug the place up. They were remodelling the streets of Swansea, and it went on forever and a day. But now the roads are relaid, so it's a much better experience.
Oh, Rachel Bailey said, "Welcome to our family, Paul Gatwood." That's right. We're one big group all together, so, and you can see already just how well you're fitting in the chat. Right then, Beata's family is tall.
Yeah, I'm about 5'7", so that's about as tall as our youngest, isn't it?
Oh, Elaine B is on here tonight. Oh, does this mean Elaine's got her own? She's chatting on her own. Elaine, are you in here on your own? What do you call a word profile? I'm not
Beata,
yet.
Charity shops, yay! Because Beata's going to be with us in about just over 2 weeks, I think it is. Going to be in Wales and is looking to raid the charity shops of all their goodies. She's going to be having trouble getting out of Wales when she leaves, because now we're no longer in Europe. She might exceed her luggage allowance in going back home. But and thank you for the pictures too, Beata. As I say, all sorts of pictures on there, and Beata's put up 2 very nice photos. One of a 15th century town gate, which is very grand, and the other one is quite an amazing building with more windows than I could care to count, and it looks very grand, but I understand it was a salt storage unit, so that goes to show just how valuable salt was in its day. But thanks for those pictures. As I say, you can, if it takes your fancy, put it up and people will talk about it, I'm sure.
Catherine Williams said, "Finish the roadworks." 3 shocked faces. I know. It did feel like they were never going to finish. It was just part of being in Swansea.
Now, isn't it Catherine who works in a charity shop? Have I got that right?
Yes, that's right, in the cat protection.
Now, see, we'll have to make...
That's the way.
Beata, you need to talk to Catherine. She works in a charity shop in Wales. Is that Brecon?
Brecon, yes.
I thought so, yeah. I thought so. And, of course, I think it's... Nigel, was it? Yeah, Nigel, who I mentioned earlier, is in the Cotswolds on tour. Mm-hmm. They are not in a charity shop. They are actually hold a stall in a market in Abergavenny, which we hope to visit soon, because when we did our last trip, we couldn't visit the market because it was closed because we were there the wrong day. But we hope to go back. So if anybody's ever in Abergavenny on a Wednesday, fantastic market in the market hall.
It is good fun.
And you want to look them up because I'm sure they'll have some goodies there as well.
We really need another question.
Do you think so?
Definitely.
Now, Manky did have a bit of fun this time with the bikes. He thought it was great that they were using bikes for their displays down there, and he insisted on having a go on every one that he could find.
Yeah.
Some of which ended up in the film, as you will have seen. And one particular bike was designed for the purpose of carrying stuff. It had the basket on the front with flowers in. Now, although bikes to carry loads were invented in the 1870s, the cargo bike, as we kind of think of it today, was first created in the 1930s, when delivery men used them to transport things such as food, milk, and even the mail through the dense city streets in which country? Which country was the first to start using bikes to get through the city streets? Was it A, Denmark? Was it in B, Italy? Or was it in C, Germany?
Go!
Which of those three countries do you think was the first country to deploy push bikes in their city? Which one do you think it was?
Anyway.
Do you think it was A, Denmark, B, Italy, or C, Germany?
I got it wrong again.
Where do you think we're going? Well, there's a few got it right.
Yeah.
A few got it right.
I think people must have known this one if there's that many people getting it right. I did consider that as my first answer, thinking of along the lines of, for some reason, relating it to Amsterdam.
Is that what you're thinking? Right then, folks, the correct answer is definitely not Amsterdam because it wasn't on the list. And it's not Italy and it's not Germany. It is
I wanted it to be
Denmark
Germany
because the city that deployed the bikes was Copenhagen. So that was the first city to actually deploy the bikes as a solution to the problem of getting products around the city. And that was nearly 100 years ago. And the person to get the correct answer first was Mr. Ed Creative.
Oh, well done, Ed.
And I think that this guy I'm going to mention now is going to try and get one of each because he got gold last time because Mike Sage had gone for silver this time.
Well done, Mike.
I think he wants to have a full collection. And it's 3 in a row, folks, because after Ed and Mike, the next answer was Colin Scott again.
Well done, Colin.
Who's picked up the A and got the position for the bronze. So we've got gold, silver and bronze, Ed, Mike and Colin.
Well done.
There we go. There we go. Very good.
Right.
Now then, shall we have some happy news?
Let's have some happy news. I said, well, can I have my happy news? He gives me, this is the third piece of paper he's given me, and I think this is the right one.
Yeah.
Then.
I accidentally put my crib notes on your happy news. That's why it was on my pile.
Do my newscasters tapping in their sheets. Meals on Wheels. A family delivers free food to kids in need from a refurbished ice cream truck. After realising students at his school were going hungry at home, PE teacher Jason Watson got an idea. It all started back in 2016 when Jason and his wife, school librarian Anne, both youth ministers at their church, started a programme for kids that included free lunches. When the pandemic hit, their outreach was paused, so Jason bought a used ice cream truck, and for the past 2 summers the couple have delivered hot home-cooked lunches and icy treats to kids in need in their town. They cook all the meals from scratch and Facebook the dates and times they will be delivering. They serve about 70 meals a week in the summertime. To date, they estimate they've served about 1,500 lunches from the truck. Jason said, as soon as they hear the music, they come running. And Anne added, to see their faces, there's nothing better. Oh, I think the fact they put it in an ice cream truck is just the icing on the cake, isn't it? You get something like that, and it's lovely to have all that help and all that practicality. But instead of it just becoming utilitarian, they're feeding the children meals so the children aren't hungry. Whoa, the ice cream truck is here, and they all rush out. And also, children who normally would never be able to afford an ice cream, and all the other children out to ice cream trucks. When that one comes, they can have the fun of running out to the ice cream truck. So I think that's a really nice additional thing, along with everything else they're doing. That ice cream truck, perfect.
Indeed. And as I say, meeting a need in a relatively small town, but where there was a real need because of the food poverty in certain parts of the town. And by taking the truck, of course, the people haven't got to book an appointment or anything. They hear the bell, and if they need a meal, they come out,
Brilliant.
They give them a meal. Simple as. And it's also lovely to think that this person, he was a PE teacher in the school, he saw the situation, he was aware of it because he's a physical education teacher, and he decided to do something about it. You know, he could have thought, well, that's not my responsibility, I'm the teacher. But he didn't. He crossed the line, and he did what needed to be done, and is making a difference. And that's excellent.
I put my cardio. It's been freezing today. Today I was really tempted to put the heating on. It was so cold. I've been shivering all day. But I thought, no, I am not putting the heating on in July. That's ridiculous. So I've just put more cardigans and layers on. I'm getting cold again now.
Yeah, I think I read about that during lockdown, Lexi. Lexi's saying there was a head teacher in Grimsby who delivered meals to his pupils during the lockdown to make sure they didn't go hungry. He got an honour for his efforts eventually. There we go. Well, it's only fair, because if somebody makes that much effort during the pandemic, that's what the honour system is for. Sadly, sometimes it's not used that way, but it's lovely to have somebody that's, I think we would all say, well done. That's what we want people to be honoured for, and it is helping each other. And I think there were probably a few stories of that kind.
I think so, yeah.
Because the heads realised they had children that were totally dependent on their free school meal. And where had to be sent home, they thought, and the other thing was, it gave them a link to the children, because these children, some of them were in very vulnerable situations, weren't it? It was excellent.
Right, let me have a look a second. Lexi was complaining because she never learned to ride a bike. Indeed, Dorothy Papinho said, don't feel alone, I wasn't allowed to cycle, but no one stopped me riding horseback. Oh, I am so jealous. I would have loved to have ridden a horse. It was all that watching white horses. Oh yeah. One of my dreams, riding along with a beautiful white flowing dress, hair blowing in the wind with my white horse, which apparently they call them all grey for some reason. And I just thought it would have been wonderful. Why do they call white horses greys?
I don't know, but
they're not. They're white.
In racing, they do anyway. According to a friend of ours who has been backing a lot of horses, he says it's not white, it's grey. We said it's white. He said no, they're all known as greys.
Speaking of white horses, sneak peek. Do you remember this horse on my art channel, on my craft channel? He was very tatty and grey, and I'm working on Friday's video. Look at him. Yeah. He's had a bit of spray
an
and
albino
painted.
Horse.
So, just thought I'd give you a little sneak peek. What am I going to do with this bald horse? His tail's gone now as well. Right, let's have a look. I thought I saw something. Oh, Linda said yes. Caroline, come to Daytona Beach. High 80s to mid 90s. Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, well, we've started something now as well. There's a conversation going, and Pieter has now checked where the Brecon beacons are located. Yeah, well, actually, they're not far.
Well, if you're staying in Blaenavon for 3 nights, it's not too bad at all from Blaenavon. You're near the Heads of the Valley Road. Heads
of the Valley, drop down, because you're near Abergavenny, and it's only a stone's throw, really. You know, you've come this far, you can't miss Brecon. And to be honest, Brecon is a beautiful town. We really need to go to Brecon and make a film, don't we?
Kate is saying they're only 10 minutes from Blaenavon.
There we go.
Abigail said, I believe the hair is white and the skin is black. Ah, so that would, I suppose, make them grey because they're a combination of white and black.
Ah, there we go. So that's why they do it. Very
Yes,
good.
I'm looking through the fog and it's my glasses.
Now we have to put that on our to-do list to introduce everyone to Brecon. Now we started the conversation.
Yes.
And we'll have to.
We got half an idea brewing about Brecon. So
and we'll have to check with Catherine if she's in the shop, and we can go in and say hello then.
Yes, come and say hello to you. What days do you work, Catherine? And then we can pop in and see you.
You have to send us a message and let us know what days you're there, and then we can pop in then and say hello and get you on camera, okay? That'd be great.
P. Mitch said I got to ride a mule my friend had. It always tried to bite us, but it was fun. Right then, what are we going to do now? Another question. Time is getting on.
I think it's fair to say that every town we visit has a public house, or two,
Or sometimes
three,
6.
or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Goodness knows. At one time, I think there were 9 public houses on one hill in our hometown back in the day when heavy industry was working. But on this occasion, Caroline did film one of those public houses because of the way they had it was a lovely building, and there was lovely deep carving over the door, the Bear Inn.
The font was lovely.
It had the date as well, 1894, wasn't it? So that's like 130 years old building, and a lot of these pubs are quite old. But here's your question. Which animal appears in the most public house names in the UK? Which animal? Okay, so do you think that the sign above the pub would include A, a fox, B, a lion, or C, a horse?
Go.
Which of those do you think? Now, I can think of pubs with all 3 in.
I know I ain't going for. It's probably wrong. Oh, I'm right.
Now, don't say no more. Don't say no more. You'll give too much away.
I feel overdue that I'm right.
What do you think, folks? Do you think the most popular animal when naming a pub is a fox, a lion, or a horse?
It's interesting. Lexi said, Phil, I think you need to do a trip where you throw a dart at a map of Wales and just go where it lands. That would actually be quite fun, as long as it wasn't the top of a mountain. I finished myself off going up Glastonbury Tour.
We'd go to the nearest town. To the dart.
Well, we said, we could make it, if we made a video of Abercrombie, I think we could make a video of anywhere, and that's not putting Abercrombie down, but it's showing that everywhere
has a story. Yeah, Abercrombie had a brilliant story.
And we'd never heard anything about it. It was just a little town somewhere that
it was how you drove through on the way to Aberdeen.
Yes.
It's just on the outskirts.
Never stopped at Abercrombie.
But when you start to look at the history, when you find the stories of some of the people there who are not famous, as in world famous, but are worthy of note. They're historical characters who did things that saving lives, and the first person from the valleys to have a Victoria Cross or wherever it was, the medal. It was amazing to learn the history and the industry that had been there and the developments. So everywhere's got a story, everywhere. But as I say, in fairness to Brecon, it has got it all. It's a beautiful place. It has a lovely river. You can even go boating on the river. Yes,
you can take a rowing boat out. Well, you could last time we were there.
Well, you could when I was a kid. And I remember going there on a chapel trip with my granny again. And her friends, Mrs. Treasure, and I can't remember the other 2 ladies, but they were all in their 70s. And the 4 of them were on the swings in the kiddies' playground, swinging back and forth on the swings like 4 blinking big kids.
Why not?
And you can imagine ladies of that age, and we're going back 50 years, had their hats on with the pin in to hold it on, and they had the nylon blinking skirts and dresses. They were dressed up for their summer trip, and there they was, and they were all well built, shall we say, not tall but well built, sat on the swings, swinging back and forth. Yeah, happy memories from Brecon. Beautiful place.
Linda said, when I was in grade school, it wasn't enough to just pretend to ride horses. We had to be horses. Picture 7 to 8 little girls galloping around there. I bet that was quite an event. Now, one thing I did try, because I'd seen children with hobby horses on TV, And so we had a broom, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I could do that with a broom. So I did. I sat on my broom, and I tried sort of galloping, and I just fell over. So I thought, no, this is... I think it was probably my broom was too long. And I think the hobby horses had wheels on the back as well, didn't they? But it was a complete flop with me. So I did try riding a hobby horse once.
We're halfway through the questions, and we're 3/4 of the way through the show, and I haven't given the answer yet. So I'd better do it, hadn't I? Do you think so? I think so. Right. All I can say is, I'm sorry, Mike. You would have got the bronze and had a full set, one of each, if only Ed Creative had got it right. But he didn't. So I'm sorry, you're going to have silver again. Oh. But the gold goes to Dan Fetters.
Well done, Dan.
The silver goes to guess who? Mike Sage.
Well done, Mike.
And it's a 3 in a row because the next correct answer is the next answer. But this is a new face on the block for us tonight, Tina Thompson.
Well done, Tina.
So there we go. It's Dan, Mike and Tina, 3 in a row because the answer was lion. And it's a very popular answer. Quite a number of people have got it. And the reason the answer is lion is because the big name is the red lion.
Yes, first thing they think of, you say the word lion.
Red lion, yeah. But interestingly enough, 5th on the list of, not animals, but popular pub names, is the white hart. The white hart.
Well, white hart is an animal. Did you say not?
But they're not all animals. The red lion is top. Next is the royal oak.
Right.
And then 5th is another animal, and that's the white hart. That's the other animal that gets in the top 5.
What was the one we saw the other day? The pig and something.
The pig and wheel or something, wasn't it?
Something really silly, like pig and yo-yo, something daft. Yeah. I've never seen one of those
before.
Wheel
and pig or something. Something like that it was. Yeah. We've really got to be on the case now. Just looked at the pictures and there's a castle in Brecon. She'll know more about Brecon than us now by the time she arrives.
Yes, we should watch the video going, I knew that.
There we go. It wasn't the Pig and Whistle on this occasion, but that is a very popular pub name, the Pig and Whistle. It is indeed. Shall I do my happy news?
Yes, you do your happy news.
Well, you're going to have to have my logo. I won't do it otherwise.
Jingle. Before you do, thank you, Brian O'Brien.
Thank you, Brian.
You interrupted Phil. Congratulations. And you've given us a coffee donation. Thank you
Very
so much.
Very kind of you.
We really do appreciate that. Thank you.
We do. Indeed, we do. Right, I can do it now.
Yes, very
Latest news.
Dun, dun, dun.
A family looking to adopt a pet get a surprise. A Virginia family were broken-hearted when their beloved dog, Dante, went missing. It broke off its leash when chasing after other dogs, and although Ruth, the devoted dog owner, scoured the area, talked to her neighbours, tried everything possible, no one knew where Dante went. And the dog never returned. Months later, after moving house and now living much closer to the Fairfax County Animal Shelter, Ruth visited the shelter with her 2 daughters and her 2-year-old grandson in search of a new pet. On the wall in the shelter, Ruth's 10-year-old daughter spotted a picture of a dog called Soldier, and it looked very familiar. She said, "Mummy, it's Dante." And Mum explained, "No, that dog is called Soldier, but it does look a bit like Dante." The little girl started crying and turned to her mother and said she was sure it was Dante. So in order to pacify the little girl, they asked if they could see the dog. The moment the dog came in the room, the dog recognised its family. It was Dante. But of course, the people at the rescue centre didn't know his name, so they just chose a name for him, and that's what they had put him up under. The staff said that Soldier, who was truly Dante, had had several meet and greets with potential families but never been adopted. He just wasn't interested in meeting new people. He would shut down during all meet and greets and was just such a sadness about him. They said, "We kept talking about it at staff meetings. Why isn't this beautiful, playful dog getting adopted? We couldn't figure it out, and now we realise. he was waiting for his family.
Oh, that's lovely.
So we've had a few things turn up after a long time. We've had jewellery and other things. But I thought, what's the chances? Of course, somebody found the dog, took it to the pound, but the pound was over 20 miles away from where they lived. And they moved house, and they go there after all those months. And if someone had adopted him, he'd have been gone. But they got their dog back, which I thought was a lovely, heartwarming story. And what I thought was lovely was not just the whole thing, the little girl knowing her dog when she saw the picture and arguing with mum saying, I know it's him. But the fact that the moment they brought the dog in, one, it recognised the family, and two, they had not seen that response from the dog with anyone else. It was like as if he was trying not to be adopted, which I thought was lovely because the dog obviously loved them too. So there we go. A nice bit of happy news.
It is, isn't it? Really lovely.
There we go.
Right, so we need another question.
Go
Time
on
is
then.
whizzing by.
I've got questions. You want questions? I've got questions. How about a chocolatey question?
Oh, yes. We want one of those, don't we?
I said yesterday, coming up is Caroline's favourite place. And Lexi said, a brocante. I said, okay, not quite a brocante, but it's chocolate. Yes. In 1879, Rudolf Lindt purchased 2 fire-damaged factories near Bern and a few outdated machines to manufacture chocolate. At the time, chocolate was a brittle, rough, quite bitter substance which was pressed into moulds by hand. But Rudolf Lindt, with the help of his brother, a chemist, invented the world's first melting chocolate and became the first chocolatier to ever taste and then produce chocolate as we know it today. But it took a little while before Lindt produced what I think is probably one of their most famous products, the Golden Bunny. In what year did the bunny come to market? Okay, was it A, 1932, B, 1952, or C, 1972?
Go! Oh, Rachel has to run, almost 5 p.m. and has a dinner date. Have a lovely time. Right, what were the numbers again?
Was it A, 1932, B, 1952, or C, 1972 that the Golden Bunny arrived? Remembering that Rudolf Lindt started the company in 1879. So we are talking a good while after. We're up over 70 years
I know what I'm going for.
On the first date, and we're on almost 100 years on the last date.
I didn't want to be right anyway.
Well, that's good, because so far you're doing well.
I
Because
am.
you haven't been right 3 out of 4 times now.
I know. I'm
You're on a
proud of
roll.
myself.
Right, let's have a look what we got. Oh, we got lots of answers. I wonder who's it going to be tonight that gets the correct answer. Oh, I tell you what.
Go on then, what?
That's interesting. Right then. The correct answer, and it's not the most popular answer, because the most popular answer at the top end of the screen looks like it's 1972. But the correct answer is actually 1952. The bunny's been out for 70 years. And the first person to get that was
Drum roll, please.
Ed Creative.
Well done, Ed. Who has no chocolate.
First answer in and correct answer. But then we got 2 C's, an A, and then we got another B from Bonnie Tyler Fan 34.
Well done, Bonnie Tyler Fan.
And then we've got 2 more C's and then a double B from the lady with the B in her name, Lexi B.
Well done, Lexi.
So that's Ed, Bonnie Tyler Fan 34, Lexi, and due to the fact it's the only other correct answer in the top section of my screen, there'll be more further down. I'll give a quick mention to Peggy Reed.
Well done, Peggy.
Who got B as well. So there we go, folks. It was 1952.
Oh, D-Dorothy Papigno, I just bought a bag of Lindt double chocolate truffles. Ooh, and Lexi just remembered I have a bar of Galaxy, which is inferior to Lindt, but better than Cadbury's in my opinion. I think I like chocolate Cadbury's because I was brought up on Cadbury's, but then I discovered Lindt and it's like, oh, this is really nice. I also like Galaxy, but I think Galaxy's my least favourite. But then between Lindt does taste more expensive, but Cadbury's is just what I always known, so I couldn't choose.
There's quite a conversation going about animals travelling long distances, and somebody mentioned about a cat that went halfway around the US in order to get back home. And I think, if I get the story right, we had a cat and it went to live with relatives, and it went missing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it came back to our house.
They do that.
And I'm pretty sure
there are lots of stories on there of pets.
Pretty sure that
they don't like being separated, and they'll find
when
their
I
way
was
back.
little, so I've had to rely on others talking about it, but I'm pretty sure that happened because they do tend to find their way somehow. Cats in particular tend to find their way.
Oh, they were talking about the cat, and Misty by nature said poor thing, as in poor.
Oh.
Very good.
Oh. Elizabeth Robinson Burley, she's contending with you. She said, I'm on a roll. 3 out of 3 wrong.
We don't want to be right, do we?
That's right.
We like being wrong.
So you can get a full set, is it?
We're rebels. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Right, do you want to have another question?
Another question. No? Wait.
Okay, folks. Topiary. How does he get topiary into this question? Easy. Because, being the posh place it is, Street Shopping Village, the Clark Shopping Village, has topiary in it.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Very posh.
So my question is, while topiary has become one of the most distinct marks of an English garden, where did the art form originate over 2,000 years ago? Was it A, Italy, B, France, or C, China?
Go. Right, I know where I'm going for you, because it's what I thought before you started giving the list.
Well, don't ignore that. I've got that wrong.
Oh, good. I thought, no, not again.
I've left. I've.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Okay, so it's the other one that I didn't guess.
Right. So Caroline thought she got it wrong because I'd highlighted the wrong one, but actually she'd still got it wrong because Caroline managed to pick neither of the right answer. You got the both of them wrong.
Yeah.
All of them wrong. Well done. You're on a roll.
I am. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how many others follow suit. Oh, I can see we've got some correct answers.
Lots.
I can see we got some correct answers. Yes, indeed.
We've got some of the others in as well. So
yeah, but we've got quite a lot of answers in, and we've got a few people who agreed with you, dear.
Yes.
Quite a number of people agreed with you. That's why that one was in there, just to catch people out. As soon as you say over 2,000 years, a lot of people think China.
Well, I was thinking of tea plants and like when we went to China and around the lakes, there was lots of topiary, and they're very, clippy. So I just thought.
But as a
completely
garden
wrong.
feature,
As a garden feature.
it was introduced not in China, nor in France.
I know that now as well.
But in Italy. And the clue was in the number over 2,000 years ago, because it was a gardener in the time of Julius Caesar. So we're talking Rome.
Why?
2,000 years ago.
How did I know it was a gardener?
No, but I say 2,000 years ago,
Yeah.
Italy, the Romans were the big people 2,000 years ago.
So were the Chinese.
No, nobody knew where they were.
No, but they were still
They
good
were
at stuff.
eating. Yeah, but it was Rome.
I'm sorry, I don't see that. Does anybody else see that link?
I saw that link. I thought that was a
I
clue.
didn't see that.
That's why I put it in. Give you a clue. Anyway, it was Italy because it was Rome, because it was in the time of Julius Caesar, 40 years BC, that the chap started the idea of topiary as sort of something to place in the garden. So there we are. You learned it here, folks. Now you know. Who got it right, though? Who went for A? Well, Dan Fetters has now got so much gold, he's going to retire. Because Dan has taken it
Dan.
again.
Whoa.
Mike, sorry mate, you're just going to have to settle for
Another
silver.
silver?
You're not going to get a bronze at this rate, because you're just too good. So Mike Sage has got himself another silver.
Well done, Mike.
And then we got a couple of people who agreed with Caroline, thinking it was China. And then we've got somebody who thought it was France. And then it's Bonnie Tyler fan 34
well
again.
Done, Bonnie Tyler fan.
Yes, so there we go. It's Dan, Mike and Bonnie Tyler fan 34 that got the first 3 A's in, and they take the podium places for that question.
Great minds, Paul.
What was that?
I must be in sympathy with you, Caroline.
Yes, there's a lot of it about. Oh, I tell you what, going back one before, back to Disney, there was a nice picture up on the Facebook page this time. I think it was from Michelle Grady, and that was of they taken it off Facebook and thought that it would be interesting to share. And it was someone had done a photograph display, so they got all their photographs from their Disney experience, and they arranged them all on a wall, and then using some silhouettes of the tops of the Disney Tower, they'd actually made it look like a Disney castle on the wall.
Very clever.
I was impressed with that. I just thought of that.
Right, so now how are we doing on the questions?
Well, we've got that famous question to finish with.
Oh, here we go.
The question that causes havoc every week. Let's go for it.
Oh, sorry, I'm coming.
In how many places in this week's video did Mr. Monkey make an appearance? Was it 3, 4, or 5?
Go.
Oh, some people are coming in too soon.
No. Oh, here we go. Oh, Ribble Finds and Crafts, as always, very comprehensive in their answers. Are you right? Good question. Oh, Darth said 7. Yeah, I think he's the highest, I guess, at the moment.
Now,
And M. Terry Lane has said 1, so we got between 1 and 7.
yeah, now, those who are thinking a higher number, possibly, if I haven't messed up again, it's because
You never know.
on the one display, Mankey comes into shot, goes out of shot, comes into shot, goes out of shot, comes into shot, because Caroline was doing her fancy bit on the display. That's why I carefully said in how many locations. So each time Mankey turns up somewhere, that's one appearance. So hopefully he hasn't been sneaking out of my pocket and people spotting him again. Then let's have a look, because thank you very much, Ribble Finds and Crafts, because you say that at 3:09 he was hiding behind a yellow bike. 3:31 he was by the pillar. 7:54 on a deck chair next to me. 8:07 on another bike, and then at 8:48 on the handlebars of another bike, which is exactly what I had, which makes it 5.
Very impressive.
And for
Eagle
being
eyes.
so efficient, although you are the 4th correct answer, you definitely get a silver gilt for that.
Definitely.
But above you, the first 3 answers in were correct, so it goes to gold. He's just got too much gold. Dan Fetters.
Well done, Dan.
Colin Scott, silver.
Well done, Colin.
And our Ed Creative
Well done, Ed.
on the bronze. Because Mike decided to slow back a bit and try and get in on bronze, but missed it.
Oh.
Slipped down the pace. But the first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The first 9 answers were correct.
Yeah, and that silver gilt we got for Ribble.
Yeah, first
Because
9 answers
done
were
so
correct.
well.
It's definitely. Well, there we go, folks. We've overrun by 5 minutes.
Yep.
But we've got through it all, I hope. We'll probably say afterwards, oh, we meant to do that.
Probably.
But the important thing is, you were here.
Yes, it's been wonderful, and it's great having you in the chat. We've had a great time interacting.
Yeah.
And hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget,
Have
fun. Bye.
Bye.